Hello and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, I'm very excited to have Pete Sapper from the Chosen 144 on here. We're going to be talking about the current mission of the 144,000, what it is that we're experiencing right now, the ways that we're being called to step up and step into our power. And just kind of breaking this down because there's a lot going on for all of us. This ascension process is really kicking into high gear as if it wasn't before. It can be really overwhelming. It can feel like there's so much to this. And like, I think a lot of us, and when we're talking about the 144,000, I want to clarify that what we're referring to are those souls who came to this planet in order to assist in the ascension of this planet and the ascension of humanity. And so it's not a small task. It is a bit of a tall order, but each and every single one of us came here because we knew that we had what it took in order to assist in this process and in order to experience this process ourselves. And so Pete and I are here to walk you guys through this and to really break it down and simplify it because it can feel sometimes kind of overwhelming. So we're going to go over some of the most important factors in what's going on right now and really kind of help to guide you guys through the process of like, okay, so how do I actually accomplish this? How do I work with these energies? And how do I really capitalize on all of this incredibly potent and powerful energy that we have going on right now? I'll give Pete a second to say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so happy to be here with the best in the business, Kassia, who is a sight for sore eyes because there's a lot of confusion going on right now. What are we supposed to be doing, right? We can tell this is an intense time. This is a very important time. Everybody can feel it. So we need guidance right now. And here's Kassia, the best in the business, to give it to us.
Thank you, Pete. And so this video was kind of inspired as I noticed and observed a couple different themes that seem to be coming up for a lot of us within this tribe. And for a lot of people in my personal life, I know who are very much on this ascension path. And so I think one of the most important things that I'm noticing, and these are really, they're both very intertwined with each other, is the importance of us really stepping up into our power and utilizing our gifts. All of us are very gifted, right? And those gifts are starting to really activate and come online. Our psychic senses are really beginning to activate. There's so much that's happening to us energetically. We're recalling gifts and abilities, and we're receiving inspiration in lots of different ways. But we have this energy, right, that has held us back from really expressing this. And this really, it's a multi-layered thing. I do have that is still available for those who are interested. You can find it in the description box below. I did a group clearing around the healer's wound, which was a big part of this energy. We received a massive energetic clearing of this energy naturally with the conjunction of Neptune and Jupiter. And so for those of you who watch this channel regularly, you will remember us talking about that. But that definitely plays into that. And that is that wound around the ways that we were persecuted in other lifetimes, that collective pain around being literally killed for utilizing our gifts and sharing our voice. And there's so many little nuances to that and so many different ways and belief systems that we've taken on that have prevented us from really sharing our gifts and sharing our voice. There's a lot of self-doubt involved in that. And so I think many of us right now, we've been called to share our gifts for some time, but there's definitely been a large collective within the 144,000 collective that has been afraid to do that still, right? That's been holding themselves back. And so this is that time where we're really being called to step forward, even if we're afraid, and to know and understand that we are probably going to be afraid. Right? Like as we are stepping into our power, as we are sharing our gifts, as we are dismantling all of these old belief systems, right? And all of this programming that's really been uploaded into our psyche by the collective, by the energies that rule and control this planet, right? There's so much of it. It's going to be scary. And so I think the biggest mistake that we make is thinking and believing that we're not ready yet. right? We're waiting for some date in the future where we're going to feel confident enough, where we're going to feel like we have something to contribute that's worthy. And we do this thing where we compare ourselves to other people. And this is, I think this is coming through right now because Spirit really wants us to know and understand that each and every single one of us is unique and different. And the ways that we contribute are going to be different. The ways that our gifts manifest are going to be different. The ways that we share the energy that's coming through, the knowledge, the wisdom, the inspiration, the healing that's coming through is going to be different for each and every single one of us. And so we want to be really careful when we're comparing ourselves and we're saying, well, I don't think I could do it like Pete does it. You know, or I don't think I could do it like Kassia does. Or this person experiences this way, and I don't think that I'm having that experience, or I don't think that I'm as confident, right? Like we have to see and understand ourselves as individual entities who have each of us has a unique energy signature. Each of us has a unique way that we express, and each and every single one of us is needed to be unique in that way because we're going to be able to reach people that other people can't. You know, the way that Pete connects with people is different than the way that I connect with people, is different than the way that you would connect with people. All right. And that's how we reach more and more people, because that specific, the way that our energy expresses draws people in. And so we really are doing a disservice to ourselves, to the 144,000 collective, and to humanity in general, when we try to mold ourselves to be like somebody else, or when we hold ourselves back from expressing because we're afraid that we're not going to do it the way that somebody else does it, or we don't have, it's like we have to stop waiting. All right. And this came up, I talked about this actually, a lot of this came through in the live that I did the other day for on June 20th, I believe it was, is this energy where I was going into my own personal story and talking about how I was not confident when I first started on YouTube. I started a channel with a friend, and I thought of myself kind of as like her backup person, right? Who was just going to kind of sit in the background and channel energy and hold space while she kind of talked to people and did readings and stuff. And it ended up working out quite differently. But like I needed that support and that confidence boost just to even get myself out there. You know, and everything that I've done for the most part since then, I didn't think I was ready for. Right. But what would happen is somebody would ask. You know, for instance, I did do oracle and tarot readings, and I never thought of myself as somebody who could actually give a reading to somebody. But then people started asking me, well, do you do personal readings? And I thought, well, I mean, I don't really like they really want that from me. And it kind of took me back for a second, but I said, well, who am I to say no? If they feel connected with my energy and they feel that I have something to offer them, like, who am I to tell them that I don't? And so I did it anyway. And so that's what we're being asked to do, because we're going to be given the opportunities. We're going to be given the chances to step up and utilize our gifts to help, to be of service. And so all we have to do is say yes. That's all we have to do is say yes, even if we're afraid, even if we feel like we're not good enough, even if it's like that old adage, right? Like they're all going to laugh at you. Yeah. So what if they laugh? Yeah. What does that matter? You know, it's like, it's our ego, and we don't think of it this way, but it really truly is. It's our own ego that gets in the way, that tells us that we're not good enough, right? Who are we to make that judgment? Who am I to decide that what I have to say doesn't have value? I don't know who anything that I say is going to touch. And even if it has value for one person, that one person matters infinitely. Because each and every single one of us creates a ripple effect with everything that we say and everything that we do. So even if we touch one person and we open up one individual, we don't know the impact that could have. All right. And so it's like, that's the energy that these are controllers, these people who've been, playing this chess game with us our whole lives that we're just now becoming aware of, right? That's what they count on. They count on us thinking that we don't matter as one individual person. All right. Yeah. And they count on us making ourselves feel small. and
Yep.
staying small. And so right now we're really being called to get big, to allow ourselves to allow, it's really just about surrendering and letting spirit move through us, because spirit is ready to move through us. Spirit is ready to work through us. And that's all each and every single one of us is being asked to do. And yes, it is scary, and but it's worth it. And it's so important. And so just notice and pay attention to the little ways where you're being invited to share, right? Where you're being invited to be of service, right? Pay attention to those nudges, to that divine inspiration, and really follow through on it. Even if you doubt yourself, right? Even if you feel like you're not ready. We are never going to be ready, but we're always ready.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so that's the first piece. That's really, really key right now, is for each and every one of us to really utilize our gifts and take advantage of those opportunities and step into our authenticity, really own our own energy. And the second thing that is very imperative right now that's coming up for a lot of us is working on abundance consciousness, and that difference between abundance and scarcity consciousness, and really acknowledging where that exists within us. And this is really, really crucial for many, many reasons. One of which being that those energies, right? Those energies that don't want us to ascend, those energies that benefit from us remaining in this lower consciousness and this lower density, are going to continue creating more artificial scarcity. They're going to continue doing everything they can to keep us in survival mode. And that's what scarcity does. That's what the perception of scarcity does. Because remember, we live in an infinite universe.
Yeah.
All right, it is limitless. Our potential is limitless, and the resources available to us are limitless. But they don't want us to know that. They don't want us to believe that, because when we do, like, just think about how much lighter you felt when I said those words, right? Limitless.
Yeah.
And then, like, think about the energy when I say scarcity, when I say lack. You feel how that shrinks.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. They're shrinking our energy by creating this false belief that there's not enough, right? And this is a belief system. Many of you are aware that I do, one of the services that I offer is called Theta healing. We work with belief systems. And if you would like a session, the information is in the description box below. I will be doing that at least for a couple more weeks before I go out on maternity leave. But this is a core belief that we come down to in a lot of people. That belief and that fear of not having enough. All right. That belief system that if I have something, it means that somebody else has less.
Right.
And these are the kind of belief systems that really fuel the 144,000, right? Because many of us come from a history where the belief systems were that it was selfish to have things,
Yeah.
right? That spirituality and material abundance do not mix.
Okay.
That in order to be a healer, in order to be a light worker, we have to be a martyr. We have to sacrifice ourselves, and we can't have anything, right? To have that whole idea of, like, you think of like the Buddha, right? And he releases attachment to everything. You think about monks and nuns living in monasteries and living in convents, right? Forsaking all material possessions and worldly experience for God. And so a lot of us have these past life experiences. We've made vows, commitments, and contracts to live in poverty, right? To live in lack, because in other incarnations, it was believed that that was how you get close to God. And so a big part of this paradigm shift that we came here to create in this world right now understands that abundance is spiritual, right? The material is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. We are spiritual beings. So how can anything in our experience not be spiritual, right? We can have abundance and be connected to God. In fact, the more abundant we are, the stronger that connection to God is, right? Because God is infinite abundance, infinite possibility.
Yeah. Abundance is the birthright for the 144,000. I can't say that enough. Abundance is the birthright. Those are the words of the Holy Spirit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is your birthright. And that's what we're here to show. That's what we're here to teach humanity. So it starts with really embracing that and working on that within ourselves. And so I know myself personally, a lot of my friends along this ascension pathway, a lot of clients that I've worked with, we're working with this energy, and we're working through these energies, and we're working through these belief systems that were created in this current society, right? That tell us that it's impossible to live your passion, right? That you can't get paid for that. You know, like that thing that you love to do, that's your hobby. That's not something that brings an abundance for you, right? You need to punch a clock every day to earn the right to have the extra time to do the things that you love.
Yeah.
All right. That's the old system. And that energy is really deeply ingrained. That was ingrained in our ancestors, right? So we carry those belief systems within us, but they're not true. That's not real, right? When we truly embrace our spirit, when we truly embrace our passion and our purpose, when we live in our bliss, abundance, like Pete said, that is our birthright. So that flows naturally, right? But it's all about unwinding these belief systems that tell us otherwise, and really stepping into and anchoring ourselves into the flow of that energy. And so we can do that in a variety of ways. Like I said, the theta healing that I do works with that. Hypnosis is another way. I know Pete's very familiar with hypnosis and learning that right now. That can help, right? Any way we access the subconscious, because that's where all these belief systems live. But it's also by living differently, by taking different actions every single day, the actions that support, I know that I'm abundant, and just stepping into that flow, by stepping into our bliss more and more, right? By making that time for that. It's going to be different for each and every single one of us, the ways that we work through and work with this energy. Just becoming aware of it and becoming aware of the fallacy of these belief systems helps to begin to dismantle them, right? Because we begin to see the elephant in the room. We're like, oh, wait, no, that clearly is programming. Yeah. Like that makes absolutely no sense if we really think about it. Like, why would that be? And this is kind of like the whole awakening journey, right? How it begins when you start to question these things, and you're like, wait a minute, why did I always just believe that was true? Why would that need to be our experience of reality, right? Like, who decided on that? And yeah, like it's the more we can step into and anchor into that feeling of abundance. And what's coming through right now, what spirit wants us to know and understand, is it's so much about the vibration of it too. So do things that make you feel abundant. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy and extravagant. Just do the little things that make you feel abundant, that get you into that mindset. Whatever it is, however it is that you can tap into that energy where things feel effortless, where things are flowing. Whether it's going out in nature and noticing and paying attention to just how abundant nature is, right? How much beauty there is there. Whether it's spending time around people that you love, where there's just this overflow of emotion and affection, right? And connection. Tap into the different ways that you can feel that sense of expansion and abundance. Because that's really what it's all about. That's the feeling of it. That's what opens up that energy for us. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Pete?
Absolutely. Abundance is your not only birth rate, but it's your natural state. Okay, so we've been deeply programmed for lack, with the lack mentality from the beginning. Okay, it's insidious, the degree to which we've been programmed. So when you kind of awaken and understand, look, I say all the time, you are a divine fractal of God. Everyone's a divine fractal of God. What does that mean? I've never explained it before. Once you understand what that means, divine fractal of God, you will never ever lack abundance again. Okay, so for those people who are very cerebral, I'll explain what a fractal means. It means in the hologram, this giant 360-degree hologram that we call the universe, it's all being projected by your self-concept, or who you believe yourself to be, right? That self-concept is the fractal of the divine, okay? And in any hologram, each part or fractal of the hologram contains the entirety of the hologram. Rumi said it like this. He said, you're not only a drop in the ocean, you're the entire ocean in one drop. Okay, so that's what being a fractal means. It means you contain every aspect of the hologram. That means you contain the specific person that you're trying to manifest. You contain the freaking the Porsche. You contain the freaking swimming pool or the mansion or whatever, you know, the dream job. You contain that. All that stuff is within you. And the only thing that's limiting your access to that abundance is your belief system. That's it. And your self-concept, who you believe you are, what you believe you deserve, right? There's so many deep subconscious beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. I mean, it's deep stuff, and we don't even know that it's there. And the way that you know, in the last live stream I did, I read a bunch of sentences where I say, you know, I deserve to have this, this, and this, and then I had people feel for the vibration of that. Okay, so we could find those beliefs and wrench them out, because most of us don't even know that we've got these beliefs. But the way you can tell is when I say, hey, you deserve all the abundance in the world, you deserve to be supported, you deserve to live your life purpose, you deserve you know, to live yourself out as the freaking divine fractal of God that you are, and then you feel for the vibration of it. Does that sound true? You know, can you really step into that? Or are you having some kind of negative reaction to it, right? And that's how you find the belief, and then you got to get it out. And however you get it out, you can get it out with hypnosis, you can get it out with auto-suggestion. I did a video on how to reprogram your subconscious mind that's going to come out in a little bit, but I had to redo it like 2 or 3 times because it's such an important video. It's literally just using auto-suggestion with your own voice to reprogram your subconscious mind and get the lack out of there. This corridor between, I was explaining to Kassia, and I'll share this with you. This quarter of time between now and the Lion's Gate of this year is a very significant time where we are literally the caterpillar in the chrysalis. Okay, and this quarter between now and then is when we need to balance out these lower 3 chakras and get this lack scarcity mindset out of here and understand how fabricated it is. Like Kassia said, in the infinite universe, lack is the only thing that can't exist. Yeah. So by the time we hit the Lion's Gate, that's when we come out of the chrysalis, and we you know, the butterfly is unrecognizable from the caterpillar. There's no indication that a butterfly ever was a caterpillar, right? And there's no indication that there's no likeness there. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go from crawling on our bellies to freaking flying, spreading our wings and flying. This is our time. This is why we came here, right? And if you have any feeling other than anticipation and excitement, it's because you're believing in lies. You know, programming, fear. There's nothing to fear. And like Dolores said, the last thing I'll say is Dolores said there's 2 things holding us to the old earth: fear and karma. That's it. So you're believing in the programming of the dark matrix, the satanic matrix is giving you lack and scarcity, and this is going to happen, and you got to be fearful. That's all. They understand your ability to co-create reality. They're trying to hijack your consciousness to create the 3D timeline that they want. That's why they're constantly starting wars and drama and trauma and all kinds of stuff. They're trying to trigger your ancestral trauma to create the 3D timeline for them, right? So we've got to be aware of what's happening here. These people are going to pull out all the stops to make sure that your consciousness, you stay in the lower levels of consciousness, that you're stuck in guilt, apathy, you know, guilt and shame, and vibing really low. But like Kassia said, literally all you have to do, you don't need to learn manifesting secrets or anything like that. You literally have to just stay in a state of joy and love and gratitude, and all of the abundance will find you.
Yeah, absolutely. There were so many different things that were running through my head while you were speaking. But one thing that I was reminded of, and Pete, you mentioned this in live that you did the other day, was the repetition, right? So when you're reprogramming your subconscious, it's all about that repetition. Mm-hmm. You know, like these beliefs were beaten into us. And so it's like literally beating those new belief systems in, really accessing that state of mind where you are in that suggestible energy, and then feeding yourself these new belief systems, right? We become aware of the old ones, we acknowledge them, we dismiss them, and we continue to repeat the new belief systems, and we continue to live as if that new belief system is true. Even if it's going to feel shaky for a little while, it's not going to feel as natural, just like anything. But it's all about the repetition of it. Yeah. And I really loved how Pete was picking up on this energy, this crescendo of energy as we're moving towards the Lion's Gate portal. That came up. It was actually, I think it started coming up in the 666 portal video. Just this awareness of the Lion's Gate. And so we're really building up energy. That energy is so huge. And so it's so important to continue to move through this energy, to continue to release all of these old outdated beliefs, all of these attachments. And we talked about this for those who haven't watched it yet in the Saturn retrograde video. We talked about this as well, because that Saturn retrograde is huge, and it's really, and that's going into the fall time. And what that energy is doing is assisting us in detaching from these old 3D timelines, from this energy, this programming that Pete talks about, right? These energies. And this is the key when it comes to this, is we want to be aware of these energies, right? We want to be aware of these energies. Pete talks about the satanic matrix. He talks about, you know, these controlling energies and interests and entities, right? We want to be aware of what they're doing, but we want to stop it at awareness. We don't want to go down these rabbit holes with it, where we're becoming obsessive over that, because that's how they hook us into that energy. And like Pete said, that's how they get us to create their timeline. Yeah. So we can look at it, we can acknowledge it, we can say, okay, that's there. Okay, that's your plan, that's cute. All right. And then we continue to focus on what it is that we are actually creating, right? Because we have that power. Their power comes from their ability to usurp our consciousness. Mm-hmm. If we don't allow that to happen, and we choose where we are intentionally projecting our consciousness, that's the timeline that we choose. That's the timeline that we create. And so that's what we're doing. And everything that we're doing as we build up to this Lionsgate portal, everything that we're healing, everything that we're releasing is helping us to become more and more aligned with that higher timeline that we are creating. And when Pete talks about these lower 3 chakras, right, they want to, they understand this too. And so they want our chakras to be locked. They want them to be closed, right? They want us to be like, that's what that looks like energetically when we're in scarcity consciousness, when we're in survival mode, right? That root chakra is blocked. It's not, and the energy when that root chakra and those lower chakras get blocked like that and clenched up, can't flow. All right. We have so much happening in our higher chakras right now, but we need to be able to anchor that energy. We need to be able to connect that, right? We need that stability that those lower chakras provide. We need that connection, right? We have to be connected above and below. Otherwise, this is when we're all active in the higher chakras and we don't have any grounding for that energy. That's when we end up with paranoia. We end up with anxiety. We end up with racing thoughts, right? We end up, the mind starts kind of taking on an energy of its own. There's just too much going on up here and it's not able to anchor. And so we really want to be able to anchor. We really want those lower chakras open so that we have that stability, that security, right? But that security is not coming from the outside world. That security is coming from our connection to this planet. It's coming from our connection to spirit, right? It's coming from our connection to ourselves and our acknowledgement of ourselves as these spiritual beings, as these fractals of the divine, as Pete says, right? When we know that, and when we're working and we're feeding off of that energy, we're not expecting the external to feed us, right? We are creating the external with the internal, right? And we're creating an external that is palatable, that is what we want to experience, right? Right now, we've been creating an external with the internal. You can see where the collective humanity as a collective is right now in the ways that this is manifesting, right? With that blocked root chakra, with that scarcity, with that fear energy, we're opening that up. And as we open that up and we anchor into a new consciousness and a new energy, we create that in the world around us as well. And these lies cannot continue. They can't, there's nothing for them to stand on, right? This lie that there is scarcity, this lie that there is not enough, like that, we can see through that, yeah, right? Because we're anchored into a different frequency and a different understanding.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, they need you to buy into their lies. Dolores said it very simply. She just said, don't buy the lies. Don't listen to the lies. It's just nonsense. You know, it's all there to hijack your consciousness, to create their 3D timeline, right? And to harvest your energy, harvest your looch. You know, that this is what happens when they get people in fight or flight. They get people in scarcity. They get people in a state where their adrenaline's they're constantly pumping adrenaline. That's when they harvest that loosh. You know, that's what all these wars, that's the deeper meaning of these wars and all this other stuff. Constant drama and trauma and the Amber and Johnny nonsense. And it's just constantly triggering, hitting the ancestral trauma, and then using that as a way to keep us at a lower vibration, right? Because all that stuff triggers us emotionally. And when it triggers us emotionally, where do we go on the vibrational scale? All the way down, right? All the way down. So we get right into our lower self, and that's exactly where they want us to create the timeline that where it's just the freaking dystopian. They're controlling and tracking every damn move you make. That's exactly what they're trying to create. And the only way you can create a society like that is by controlling the population through fear, right? So like Dolores said, just don't fall for it. Two things holding you to the old earth: fear and karma. Can you tell us what now that the way to cleanse karma is the freaking opposite of karma, which is dharma. And this is like Kassia said, this freaking period of transformation between now and the Lion's Gate and after the Lion's Gate is the time we're supposed to get out of the chrysalis and start flying as a completely different version of ourselves, an enlightened version of ourselves, enable for us to fly. In order for us to fly, we have to be enlightened. And what does it mean to be enlightened? It means to let go of all the stuff that's been anchoring you to the ground, all the stuff that doesn't belong to you. You know what I mean? So that's it. This is such an exciting time. Kassia is a freaking awesome energy update. Very, very much needed guidance right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. How do you heal karma? You forgive. You forgive, you release. That's why forgiveness has been coming up so much. You forgive, you release your attachment to that energy, and you live in integrity right now. Right? That's why it's so important for us to live in that sense of integrity, to really walk our talk, to choose very carefully the words that we speak to others, the way that we treat others. You know, Pete talks about it all the time, the boomerang, right? The energy that we send out is the energy that we get back. And so when we forgive, when we live in this place of gratitude, this place of humility, and we act with integrity, and we make new choices, right? We choose not to play into and participate in old toxic cycles anymore. We are releasing and healing that karma, and we're healing those wounds. And so when these energies attempt to bring us into a lower consciousness by triggering us, once we've healed that energy, we've healed that karma, we've released that wound, it no longer triggers us anymore.
Right.
So that takes away their power and their ability to do that. Instead, we're simply observing.
Right.
We're observing. There's no emotional reaction anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you can tell when you've healed a wound, is that somebody throws salt at it and it doesn't burn anymore because it's not a wound anymore. Right. And so yeah, it really is that simple, but it can feel very complicated sometimes. And that's why we wanted to hop on here and do this energy update for you guys today. You guys are amazing. You are so powerful. You are absolutely, each and every single one of us. We are. I love that the metaphor of the caterpillar and the butterfly, because I think a lot of us, as we've moved through 2022, we've been in that cocoon, right? And so we've experienced that darkness again. A lot of us have gone through these dark nights of the souls. We've gone through this intense period where we felt almost like we were moving backwards. We've had to go into the darkness, into the cocoon, so that we could experience this metamorphosis. And we are getting ready to emerge from that. But we got to leave everything. We got to leave everything that we're not bringing with us there, right? We have to allow ourselves to be light. If we want to fly, we have to be light enough to lift off the ground, right? Absolutely. To really use those wings. And we have to believe and have faith in our ability to do so. All right. So know that, believe in yourself, know that you have that capability. You are that beautiful butterfly who is getting ready to emerge from that cocoon. And we're doing this, right, so that we can show everybody else, so that they can see us as these beautiful butterflies and be inspired to allow themselves to go through that transformation too, right? That's that energy of showing the way. I believe in every single one of you. I know Pete believes in every single one of you. We are so grateful to you guys for tuning into this today. If you did enjoy this video, hit that like button, drop a comment down below. Let us know how you're feeling these energies. I love connecting with you. Pete loves connecting with you. You guys are so amazing. You are so appreciated. There are links down below to donate if you feel so moved to do so. And as I said, I will be taking clients for a couple more weeks. So if anybody wants any assistance moving through these energies in a more one-on-one capacity, feel free to reach out to me. My email is down below. I think, and somebody remind me if I don't do it, because I say this and sometimes I do forget. When that video comes out about reprogramming the subconscious mind of Pete's, I'm going to link that in the description box below for people who are finding this, if you want to work with that energy. And there's also going to be a link for Pete's channel. If you are unfamiliar with the Chosen 144 and you want to check that out, there's just so much great information that Pete's always sharing. He really inspires me and gets me going, gets me fired up. When I need that extra push, I know that I can always turn on the Chosen 144 and get that spark reignited. That's what we do for each other here. You know, that's why we're here. We feed each other, we fuel each other. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got to say for everyone tonight.
Yeah, phenomenal energy update, very much needed guidance, and we really need to pay attention to what's happening right now. And Kassia gave us some phenomenal guidance here, and this is definitely a higher dimensional guidance for this critical moment right now. This is why we came here, right? So you can be afraid or you can be excited. Both are generated by the same neurotransmitter, right? It's the same neurotransmitter, excited. It's just filtered through a different belief system. So that's it. What's it going to be? Are we going to stay caterpillars, or are we going to come out of that chrysalis and fly into that freaking monarch butterflies? That's what we all came here to be.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know about you, but I am pretty excited right now. So I choose excitement, and it's
Awesome.
up to each and every single one of us. What are you choosing today? We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.